First, Mr. Speaker, I respect this House, I respect the rules of this House, I respect the Constitution and the standing orders. Mr. Speaker, we have received your communication. Note that we were not aware of the machinations and the schemes that were happening. But Mr. Speaker, I am shocked by yourself. This morning, I came to your office with a Senate Majority Whip, and we served you with an order that was procured after an application where the Majority Whip was part of the application. In that application, Mr. Speaker, the court is very express, the tribunal is very express that, Mr. Speaker, it stayed any decision that was going to be made based on the purported coalition agreement between KANU and Jubilee. That is really weighty. Mr. Speaker, when the history of this House will be written, and your time as the second Speaker under the new Constitution, that very decision is going to be very key. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I stand here knowing for sure that if you have 20 numbers, and the court has ruled that 3 of them from KANU cannot participate in the elections, Mr. Speaker, meaning you would only remain with 18 members of Jubilee, 17 members of the Jubilee side, which together with PDR we form 35, meaning that the majority of the remaining members were against the decision. If you go further, Mr. Speaker, when you ruled on the case of Orengo replacing, Senator Orengo replacing Senator Wetangula, you made it clear about the form of the communication, that the communication can only come, and the standing orders is expressed, standing order 19. It can only come from the whip if it is in the removal of majority leader, and the majority leader if it is coming from the removal of the whip, anticipating that there would be no situation where you remove both of them at the same time. Mr. Speaker, these are very important positions. It's not about my position. And if, Mr. Speaker, you have made your determination, you have been pushed to a corner to make that decision. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say this.
Order, Senator.
Mr. Speaker,
what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, of coronavirus, that our focus, Mr. Speaker, we were told not even 15 people should meet. Yet we are told that about 20 people met in State House to plot out to remove Murkomen. Mr. Speaker, if the only agenda for our party, Jubilee, has been wrangles from 2018 up to now, not focusing on delivery of services. If the greatest achievement of the President of Kenya is to demonstrate to the people of this country that I have removed my majority leader, I'm a big man. Mr. Speaker, the President is already a big man. I am just but a son of a squatter, born and brought up in Embobut. To be a subject of his discussion over and over again, I want to say, Mr. President, now therefore deliver for the people of Kenya. Murkomen is out of the way. If I was your stumbling block, deliver for the people of Kenya. Allow all the bills that, Mr. Speaker, has been signed unconstitutionally, and which, Mr. Speaker, this House went to court to challenge, allow those bills to come to Senate. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the President, stop lying to the Senate. You told us you will give us oversight fund. Bring the oversight fund to the Senate if Murkomen was the stumbling block. It is only, Mr. Speaker, if I was the only reason, Mr. Speaker, that Senate was not being protected, I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that it is time. Mr. Speaker, it is time.
There's a point of order.
I want to conclude, Mr. Speaker.
There's a point of order. Order, Senator Murkomen. Please.
To stand firm and be the Speaker that this House elected you to be. To arbitrate, be fair, be firm, and resolute in defense of this institution. I have information in my possession, Mr. Speaker, and I'd wish to know. It will be proper, before the Speaker communicates such a decision, that this House is furnished with the alleged minutes of the meeting, who are present, who signed, because we have supplied your office this morning with a list of 20 senators from the Jubilee Party that have signed and said they were not party to that meeting. Number one, Mr. Speaker, Jubilee has 34 senators in this House. We only have a coalition agreement with PDR. That makes it 35. If 20 senators sent a letter to your office this morning urging you and reminding you that they were never party to these changes, then where did these numbers that are allegedly being used to make these changes come to. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I am aware that you are also in possession of a letter from the whip of the majority side informing you of a court order that was issued this morning, interim orders from the PPDT, informing you that that decision that was made to enter KANU and Jubilee into a post-election coalition is null and void and stayed because it was non-procedural. How you choose to treat this information, Mr. Speaker, is out there for history to remember that at such a time as this, when the country was faced with such a serious pandemic as we are dealing with, people sat somewhere, made forgeries, and we are about to sanction it as a house. We will go down so badly, Mr. Speaker. I plead with you, as you make your decision, to tell us the truth about what happened. Establish for us who attended this meeting, who are these alleged 20 senators that met, and also tell us why there's a contravention of Standing Order number 19.4 that directs that it is the whip of the majority side who writes to you. So we would wish to see this letter from Whip Senator Susan Kihika informing you of these changes. I rest my case, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Pareno.
By this decision. So if my colleagues can give me that small moment of respect, because, Mr. Speaker, they will have the rest of the 2.5 years to celebrate this decision.
But also you should note what you say. When you say I was pushed to a corner.
If, Mr. Speaker, I am not saying you are pushed by anybody. I've just said if the evidence before you pushed you or whatever pushed you to a corner and you've made a decision, and a decision that is not reasoned, it is not giving the reasons, it doesn't take us the names, it doesn't tell us what you do with the tribunal decision that came before you. You are saying you will give a reasoned now decision later. Allow me then to say this, Mr. Speaker. When I was a student leader at the university, one of the things I went through was a training on leadership. And I remember only one very important aspect of leadership, that the moment you take a position, whether it is the speaker, the majority leader, or even as a senator, the moment you take that position, always prepare yourself for the day you leave that position. Mr. Speaker, I am not worried and I have no problem not being the majority leader. What was only being defended on this side was the fact that we must follow the rules. Be it as it may, Mr. Speaker, if finally you will disregard the law and make a decision that I'm not going to be the majority leader in this house, what I can only say is that I want to thank my colleagues who voted for me, supported me throughout, and who have continued having faith in me, even amidst a lot of intimidation from the executive. Number two is to thank my staff, about 6 or 7 staff of the office of the majority leader, who will quickly, Mr. Speaker, this afternoon, the only people that are in my mind at the moment, Mr. Speaker, is not me. It's my staff. And I know they've done tremendous job. They have loans. They have commitments to their families. This afternoon, they are going to lose their jobs by a stroke of a political conmanship, Mr. Speaker. So I feel for them. And, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this, that I want to thank them for their support. I will stand by them as a person. I have just started my political life. I have only been 8 years, actually 7 years in politics, Mr. Speaker. I believe this is just but the morning of our political careers. There will be a brighter future. I want to tell them that they should take heart. We will come back and come back big, Mr. Speaker, and they must be able to continue looking forward to that great future. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I wish during the
had Senator Murkomen state unequivocally that the president should stop lying to the nation and he should now deliver the things he itemized. Mr. Speaker, is it in order for him to run away from his statement and try to persuade us that he didn't make those statements? Mr. Speaker, I urge you that if he cannot withdraw the statement now, you will look at the proceedings of the House in the afternoon or tomorrow, and he should accordingly withdraw and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't say the president lied.
So Senator Murkomen, just
Yes.
To inform you, Standing Order 96, contents of speeches, neither the personal conduct of the president nor the conduct of the speaker or any judge nor the judicial conduct of any other person performing judicial functions nor any contact of the head of state or government or the representative in Kenya of any friendly country or the conduct of the holder of an office whose removal from such office is dependent upon a decision of the Senate shall be referred to adversely, except upon a specific substantive motion of which at least 3 days notice has been given. So I think
Thank you, Mr.
observe
Speaker.
that.
I am aware of the standing order. I am very clear in my debate. I am within the debating rules. I just want to conclude by saying this, that I hope, Mr. Speaker, by removing me and Senator Susan Kika, and procedurally and illegally and unconstitutionally, it will improve the relationship between this House and the National Assembly. It will also improve, Mr. Speaker, the executive promises to this House. Then I hope, Mr. Speaker, the President will not sign any other bill that, Mr. Speaker, concerns counties that doesn't come through this House. Mr. Speaker, I will remain focused on the rule of law, on the things that affect Kenyans, on defending the people of Elgeyo Marakwet, whom I am so grateful that they elected a son of a squatter to come to this House. And Mr. Speaker, to my adversaries, I want to tell them you can celebrate, you can cheer, you can be happy. I will be coming back, and coming back big. And Mr. Speaker, with all those remarks, I just want to say this. I know you will say the conduct of the Speaker is being put in doubt. You are my friend. I've known you for long. You've been a DC in my place. I knew you when you were governor. I moved the motion. I defended you here when Orengo and Wetangula wanted to bring Senate documents against you. Mr. Speaker, this is not your decision. You made this decision under duress and undue influence. And I'm sorry you had to do it.
Order,
Thank you,
Senator,
Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Murkomen.
Mr. Speaker,
Order.
on a point of order, those remarks about the Speaker, and I've been in this House many years, and I've had wars with speakers. I've had a war with Kaparo, Senator Kaparo, but never, never, never in the history of my life in Parliament would I address the Speaker in the manner in which you have been addressed. Mr. Speaker, if Mr. Murkomen, Senator Murkomen, wants to proceed to be part of this House, he should have no alternative but withdraw those remarks that he has made about you personally. Because when you sit on that chair, the person, Ken Lusaka, is not the equivalent of the Speaker of the Senate. He cannot undermine the authority of your office. So, Mr. Speaker, I demand that he withdraws and apologizes. And by the way, Mr. Speaker, we are going to speak on this issue since the other side has responded. We are also going to speak on this issue, the legality of the decision and whatever they also been doing. We are going to address those issues. And I hope this continues in the afternoon.
Senator Linturi.